Thanks for thanks everyone for being here. Before I open up to questions, um, I just want to say that the team's feeling all right. We've had some good performances. It's been a bit of a transition into Division One, but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. It's always tough when you're missing guys and you don't have the full lineup to play with. But I do want to shout out Alex Lee, who really stepped up. We're missing our starting goalkeeper, and he came in there and was absolutely lights out. And if it wasn't for him, this game would have gotten really far out of hand. So definitely want to shout him out. But I think there's a lot of things we can learn and improve on from the game. Um, but yeah, I'll open up to questions.
What happened last week?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we played well. We played well for 70 minutes. We get a red card and go down to 10 men, and we just lose our legs. At the end of the day, that's what happened. We were defending well. We were playing well. We were struggling a little bit offensively in the second half. Probably could have done more in the first half as well. I think that's a theme for the season and something that we need to improve on. But at the end of the day, that's what happened.
What are the takeaways from the game?
Like I said, I think some key takeaways are that we can defend well when we need to. I think that's something we've proven over the last 2 or 3 weeks. To be honest, we've been playing the top teams. We've been playing the top teams so far. Sorry, hecklers. We've been playing top teams so far in this season. We played the champions our first game. We played the runners up, and then we played a semifinalist. So we've had three of the toughest teams in this league that we've already faced. And while we didn't have the outcomes that we wanted, there were a lot of good things. As we start to mesh, we've added some new guys, and we're sort of figuring out how to play together. So I think those are some of the takeaways from the game. I think the other thing is that we need to move. We're not moving very well on and off the ball. The times we are possessing it, there's not many options for our guys in the midfield. And I think that makes it tough. So we've got to be better moving off the ball. Some people checking too, making sure there's at least two or three options for anybody at any point in time. And I think that is part of the challenge that we've been facing and something that we've got to do a better job of as a team is moving.
How are you addressing the red card situation with Antar?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Anytime you get a red card, it hurts the team, right? You go down to 10 men, it makes it tough to win games, makes it tough to stay in games. We were playing well for 70 minutes, and unfortunately, one of our players lost their head and decided to curse to the referee, and you just can't do that. You just can't do that. Nothing good's ever come from dropping an F-bomb at a referee, especially as they're going to pull out a yellow card already. So I think it's something that we just don't do a great job of as a team, is we tend to chat to the referee a bit too much. Nothing really good can come of it. I don't think there's been a game this season, and probably not last season either, where the referees were really on our side, and we do that to ourselves. So I think that's something we've got to do. We just got to stop talking to the referee and just play the game. There's no point in arguing. We're not really going to get anything out of it. And as you can see, what happens when you lose your head is we lose a guy and go down to 10 men, and it's tough to win games. So no, I don't have any update on Antar's situation. I don't know what the league's rule is in terms of how many games. If it's just one game or if you're suspended for the next game, no idea. That's something that hopefully we'll get some clarity from the league this week.
How are you addressing the lack of offense?
So we talked about we scored one goal, and it was an own goal from another team that we played. So we're struggling. We're struggling offensively. We're getting some looks every now and then, but we're not getting enough. We're not creating enough chances, and part of that is a breakdown of possession. We're not connecting more than two or three passes at any time. As I talked about earlier, people aren't moving on and off the ball, and that's a big factor as to where our offense is coming from. I also think that part of it's been formation, so that's something that we're going to adjust going into this week potentially, is just our formation. We've been playing a 4-3-2-1, which rather than being kind of that 2-1 being attacking has been more defensive. So we've ended up really playing a 4-5-1. And unfortunately, we don't have the legs, we don't have the speed up top for us to really be able to just run at people with one guy. Or we don't really have the hold-up capability, and then we don't have guys running off of it. So I think we're going to adjust our formation going into this week to see if we can generate some more offense and play with two strikers, I think we've got a pretty solid midfield now at this point. Tosin sits great at that 6 right there, and I think if we can add Paul in there, we're going to kind of shut down the middle like we want to, but also be able to transition from offense to defense, connect some passes out of the back, and ultimately have some more options for those guys when they get the ball in the middle of the field. So that's one of the things that we're doing to address the lack of offense.
How's the transition been to Division One?
Well, as you guys know, the team was a little split in terms of how wanting to come up. It was, just a handful of votes that put us in the upper division, though it sounds like the league was going to promote us no matter what. So I don't really know that the vote mattered. That being said, we're competitive, right? We've gone in there, we've played, we've been competitive. We can play with these teams. We just have to have a little bit more confidence, and I think getting some goals will really help that team's confidence moving forward. So that's really the goals. Get lots more goals and just prove that we belong here. The other thing that's on our side is that the rest of the playoff matches, the rest of the games, we're going to be playing teams that are not as competitive in the sense that we're going to be more competitive with, right? We match up better with. We're not going to be playing the finalists and semifinalists. So we'll be playing some teams that we're going to be able to beat, and it's going to be important that we go out there, beat them, and ultimately, kind of find our own swagger as we move into this, second half of the season, so to speak.
How are you feeling going into week 4 of the Iguanas?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a little bit of a scouting report. So, they've got one super fast winger slash striker who can run behind and he can shoot. And they've got a couple guys in the midfield that if you give them time, they can pick their head up and put the ball right where he needs to be. And that tends to be how they score most of their goals. And so, one, if we can shut down that runner, and two, make sure that there are a couple guys in the center of the park that can distribute the ball, don't get enough time on the ball to get their head up, then I think we're going to do well. Again, the other thing is moving into this formation where we're going to generate some more offense, have a couple strikers up top so that we can actually get some more chances, and instead of defending the whole game, attack, get some goals, and come from a point of strength. So I think that's our game plan for the week is get some goals, shut down, there are a couple threats, and just play the game like we know that we can. We just haven't quite done that yet offensively this season. But yeah, and that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a lot of goals, a lot of production, and confidence, some confidence and swagger. So that's all I got time for questions. But thank you guys.